Hey, man.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. So, before we start, how was the function?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a good function. Sorry about the delay, but you never know. With these functions, they normally take longer than expected. So yeah, it was quite an enjoyable event. And I've obviously got another one lined up next weekend, which is a wedding. So
Not
someone's getting
a
married in the
Nice.
neighborhood. So yeah, we'll have to do an early show next week, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, man. As long as you enjoyed the food, because function's always good with the food.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing you obviously kind of look forward to after the patient having so much of patience and stuff, you know. So yeah,
Okay, let's rock and roll to the cricket. Okay, the results from last week, we just go through them very briefly. Sri Lanka predictably beat Ireland by 9 wickets. Then obviously, yeah, what are your quick thoughts on that?
uh, yeah. I guess Sri Lanka would be happy, getting those 2 points. But yeah, I thought at one stage Ireland were in the game a bit. Hey, I mean, I don't think Sri Lanka really dominated this game the way they wanted to. But I mean, they got the job done in the end. And there was some weather around in Hobart, and we know the weather has obviously been spoiled sport to quite a few games this weekend, and we'll go through it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think the main thing was the result.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter how
Hmm.
which way you get it. So I mean, it was very important that Sri Lanka won that game because I mean, losing to a side that you expect to win against,
Hmm.
would cause all sorts of problems in that group. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we get to the blockbuster one, India and Pakistan. Hey, this one really went down to the wire. India won by 4 wickets thanks to King Kohli. Nice to see him back in form, firing. I guess that 1 month break really has rejuvenated him to play out of his mind. What are your thoughts?
Well, guess what? Kohli's back in form and he's back with a bang. I mean, that was a fantastic innings. I mean, looking at this game, I thought India were dead and buried. I mean,
Hmm.
losing 4 wickets in the power play, but that partnership between Pandya and Kohli was so dynamic, and it's something that India needed in that game. It was superb to watch that fight back. But I mean, boy, oh boy, that final over, Sid, I mean, that was absolute chaos. I mean, so many things could have happened in that final over, but India eventually got off the line or got over the line there. And I mean, boy, but it was a game of emotion, eh? Pakistan,
Hmm.
they had their moments in that game. I think Pakistan at times they probably feel like they were bossing this game. You know, if you think about it theoretically, and I mean,
Hmm.
if it
Hmm.
wasn't for that partnership between Pandya and Kohli, I mean, who knows where this game would have ended? It wouldn't have ended in a very good way for India because I mean they lost literally 4 quick wickets in that power play, which really
Hmm.
pegged them back. I think KL Rahul's form is a huge concern for India in this tournament so far. You know, he hasn't hit his straps. So I mean, unbelievable game, hey, unbelievable finish. I mean, one of the best T20 games I've watched in a long time, hey. And I mean, it was drama right till the final ball, and I think the innings from Kohli, it was fitting that India got over the line because I mean that was one of the great knocks in World Cups that we've seen.
Okay, so we get to the next one, the Bangladesh and Netherlands. I was predicting this one to be close, and it was. Bangladesh won this only by 9 runs. I really wanted the Netherlands to win. But yeah, well done to Bangladesh.
Yeah, I guess another game that probably was potentially going to be
Hmm.
rain affected, but we managed to get a full game here. So yeah, I mean Netherlands they'd be a bit disappointed, eh? Because I mean they were looking good to obviously chase the score down at the halfway stage, but yet again you have a problem with this associate size that they really can't pace an innings, and that's something that the ICC has got to look into. You know, giving these associate sides more games, and obviously you get more game time. you get a chance to, improve your skills and, get a chance to actually go out there and win games from all scenarios. So I think, we've seen a bit of closing the gap in this tournament so far with some of those teams that we're going to go through it, just now that some of these associate teams have closed the gap, but I mean, some of them are still lagging behind. And I think the Netherlands, what I actually like about the Netherlands, they're so good on the field. They're so good with the bowling. They're so good with the field, very disciplined on the field. The only thing that they're lacking is the batting, and that's obviously the skill that the associate sides have to work with, because the things you can control, Sid, is your fielding and your bowling. Those things are controllable. I think when it comes to batting, there's obviously a skill set involved there. And there's so much of skill that's needed in terms of trying to negate certain bowlers. So yeah, I think they've just got to work on the batting, but they got the makings of a promising side, the Netherlands in years to come.
Yeah. Okay, so we get to the Proteas, and against Zimbabwe, this was a no result. This really annoyed the hell out of me because this was 2 points for SA, gone down begging. But actually, it was they actually split it 1 point each, but it's kind of like mixed emotions. So what are your thoughts, man? And it's good to see Quinny back in form, because I know you were very worried about Quinny, but I had a feeling he'd click in the World Cup. I think Quinny is a big tournament player, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was Diwali and a bit of a disappointing game to watch, I feel. I mean, I was waiting for hours for this game to start, and then it finally started. But then it went to 9 overs and then 5 overs, and it was total chaos. But I just want to say, if you look at the pitch, and I think Zimbabwe would probably feel hard done, even entering that sort of that outfield, because I mean it was really wet. It was really wet, and you got to understand players' safety. I mean they lost a player due to injury as well. So I mean they had a call there. I mean they were obviously felt hard done by it. And I mean this is something you can't control. I mean unfortunately the weather has spoiled this game, but it hasn't been the only game that's been spoiled so far in this World Cup. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You gotta take it on the chin. But I mean, if this game went to 5 overs, Proteas would have. I mean, they would have cruised home with that score. And I think this is something that the ICC have got to look at as well. I mean, because I mean, if the Duckwood pass score was 51 or 55, the Proteas were well ahead of that Duckwood-Lewis total when they walked off the pitch. Walked off the playing field. So, yeah, I think it was probably a game that probably shouldn't have taken place due to I mean the risk factor that comes with playing on such a wet outfield and playing surface. So, I guess it was inevitable in a way that this game was abandoned due to rain.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to Australia and Sri Lanka. Australia back to winning ways, as I did call it. They played on the bouncy pitch of Perth. 7-wicket win. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Perth, we spoke about it. We just spoke about the pace. We spoke of the bounce. But wow, what really amazes me about Perth is that the square boundaries are huge. They're absolutely massive. I think they're around 85 meters square of the wicket. So, I mean, the shorter boundaries, the shorter boundaries obviously, behind the bowler. So, I mean, this game, Sri Lanka, I mean, they really couldn't handle the pace and bounce of this wicket. That total was never ever going to be enough against Australia. 158, defendable, but I mean, Hasaranga had a bit of a nightmare, I'd say, because Big Stoin, I mean, he took him to the cleaners. That's the only way I can actually describe this. He took him to the cleaners. I mean, that was a fantastic innings from Stoin, and it kind of swung the game back into Australia's favor, where there was a bit of a hiccup there, 98 for 3, but Stoinis coming in and just blitzing his way to 50 was actually superb. So yeah, I mean, comfortable win for Australia. But I mean, losing to New Zealand that first game was obviously going to be difficult. A bit of pill to swallow, and they obviously probably improve their net run rate to an extent. But I still feel that they need to obviously do more in terms of trying to up that net run rate.
Yeah. Okay. So we get to Ireland and England. This one was also another annoying match according to me, because I felt that England was starting to get back into the game, but then the rain came and then Ireland got a 5-run win. I guess it's good for the tournament, but I have my own solutions regarding this whole rain, reduced matches, but maybe I'll mention it towards the end. Yeah, man, what are your thoughts on Ireland's 5-run win over England?
I think I know what you're going to say towards the end, but we'll leave that conversation towards the end. But yeah, I mean, this was a frustrating day, Sid. I mean, Wednesday was really frustrating because, I mean, England, obviously, they made a mess of that chase. It shouldn't have been 111 for 5 and after 14 overs. They really made a mess, but I mean, full credit to Ireland. They bowled superbly. But the one thing that actually, it kind of irritated you was the weather, obviously. But ICC haven't really had a plan B in terms of how to combat this dreadful weather that we're seeing in this World Cup so far. So, I mean, New Zealand had a washout with Afghanistan. That could have potentially been quite an exciting game, given Afghanistan's bowling, resources, and it could have been quite an exciting game to watch. So, yeah, I think for cricket fans as a whole, it was a very frustrating day. But I mean, well done to England, to Ireland. I mean, you really can't take it away from them. I think on the balance of play, they probably deserve to win the game. So they probably deserve to win that game because they had been doing a lot of.
Yeah. But I think New Zealand would have been very upset because I think that was probably 2 points gone, which would have probably strengthened their position after today. But we'll get to that towards just now. And we'll first talk about South Africa. Yeah, man, they crushed Bangladesh by 104 runs, got a nice net run rate. So should everything go according to plan tomorrow, but we'll also get towards that just now. I mean, yeah, full-class performance by the project. It was the first time I actually believed that SA could actually win this cup. Normally, I've always been like iffy about it, but yeah, I felt quite proud of it today. Proud of that result, even though it is against Bangladesh, but it was like a full-class performance.
I'd say 5-star. It was a 5-star performance, and I'm so happy that I woke up so early for that game, and obviously I didn't. It was worth the sacrifice in the end. But I mean, boy, that was a fantastic performance. They really killed it there. I mean, with bat and ball. I mean, Riley was absolutely superb. I think him coming out early really helped him a bit. Probably Bavuma losing his wicket again. I mean, predictably early. That's another Bavuma's form. Yeah. I mean, we can go on and on about Bavuma's form, but I mean, there's no way around it. Guy really needs to score runs. Fast, because I don't think you can get into a team as often. But let's look at the positives here. I mean, that partnership between de Kock and Riley was sensational. I mean, if you look at the commentators, that was actually a treat, eh? That was actually a treat to watch. I mean, thing was superb, and Riley. I mean, a lot of people have criticized CSA for bringing him back into this format, into the Proteas setup. But
really, okay,
that game really showed. That game really showed why we need him so badly. Why we need him so badly. I mean, this guy is a match winner, and I think he's such an improved player from what he was when he first made his debut in 2014, 2015. Yeah. So I mean, he's a fantastic player now. He knows his game. He's all power, but he's also got that touch game about him, and it's good to see Quinny in the runs as well. He was superb against the unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Riley was already good even before he left for Kolpak. I remember Russell Domingo, when he was coach, was quite upset because I know TSA invested a lot into him. But I'm glad that he's come back again for South Africa and he's pumping. So hopefully he keeps pumping for South Africa.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that the Kolpak players get a lot of flack from fans and from critics, about not being loyal enough to the country, and you're going away to play in the UK and then coming back. I mean, well, why should you come back automatically? But I mean, if you look at a cricketing decision, I mean, this is a cricketing decision. Remember, Faf du Plessis is not in the squad here. So the selectors, obviously, they saw something in Riley. And I mean, this guy he's been killing it. He's been killing it in all the T20 leagues across the world. I mean, if you look at the Big Bash, if you look at the 100 in the UK, I mean, he's been killing it. And he thoroughly deserves his spot in this team. And I'm so happy for him that he crossed the line. That was a brilliant century. I mean, it's one to really you can see it over and over again. It was power hitting at its finest, and there was some really good strokes as well there as well. I mean, and then Quinny obviously gave him fantastic support there as well. So it's good to see that top order clicking at the moment. I think the only disappointment was the way they finished that innings. They probably should have posted 230, 240 the way they were going. I mean, they were 170 after 14 overs. But I mean, in the end, it was way too many. And I mean, the bowling. Nokia, I'm so happy for him. He really got back into his mojo before the big game. So I think it was a perfect out for the Proteas. The only weakness, I think the only negative is Bavuma's form at the moment. Still can't buy. And we got to look at our jet batting, how we finish off in innings. I think that's really important, especially against big nations. How we finish off in innings is going to be really important. I mean, Bangladesh really had no answers to this Protea side. I think they did well, but once they lost that first wicket, I'd say the floodgates kind of opened up there, and they kind of crumbled in there.
Okay, so we'll get to India and Netherlands. A predictable win for India by 56 runs, and nice to see Surya Kumar back in the runs, though it's against Netherlands, but good to see him in form. Kohli is still pumping as ever, so that's great. Your thoughts? Yeah,
I'm looking at these Indian players, and I mean, Kohli is scoring runs. Sky, I mean, he's having the form of life. I mean, I'm happy that Kohli is scoring. I'm also not so happy because, I mean, it's a big game tomorrow, and I probably would have preferred a Kohli that's not being informed. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's having a great tournament so far, and I guess, I mean, looking at this game, Netherlands were just not enough quality to test this Indian side. They did their best, as I said, on the field with the bowling. I thought they bowled quite well. For most of the innings, I thought they just lost it in the last 5 with the control. And that's how India managed to post 179. But as I said, associate sides, it's just got to work on their batting, because I think this Netherlands side has the makings of a decent side in the future. I mean, they do the basics quite well with the bowling and fielding. So, I mean, they dropped a howler, which was Sharma. 9 times out of 10, you should be taking catches like that. Eh? That is an absolute dolly. I mean, who knows what the score would have ended for India? But I mean, they were never really in this contest, to be honest with you. It's kind of a difficult game to watch, to be honest with you. It really was one-sided.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to Zimbabwe and Pakistan. This is another match that annoyed me, because Pakistan did a South Africa here, man, in terms of choking, man. It's crazy. 1-run win for Zimbabwe. Congratulations to the neighbors. And what are you doing with their head, man?
I was saying India and Pakistan was probably the best match of the week. But boy, I'm sorry. This game really trumps it as the match of the week for me. Wow. I mean, this game was absolutely crazy. What a fantastic win by Zimbabwe. I mean, this game was an absolute thriller towards the end. So, I mean, wow. I'm so disappointed I missed this game, but boy, oh boy, I mean, I saw the highlights and I saw it over and over again.
Yeah.
Raza's spell was absolutely match-changing in that game. Absolutely match-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, he got Shadab out, he got Shan out. And who else did get out? Was it?
Oh, sorry. Hold on a
Trying to
second.
figure
Let me
out who
just
else
open
got
up.
out.
That's fine. Let me just go to the scoreboard. Okay, I'll see. We got out. But yeah, he got Shan Masood, he got Shadab Khan, and then he got Haider Ali out. He got those three
Haider Ali.
wickets.
I mean, that was the game for me, sir. That was the game for me. I mean, Pakistan. You would think if Shadab and Masood got it towards the end, they probably would have scored. They would have, chased one on. But boy, oh boy, full credit to Zimbabwe for fighting like that, fighting towards the end. I mean, defending this total. I mean, 130 against quite a team in Pakistan. So, I mean, this was unbelievable. I think this is one of the history books in terms of Zimbabwean cricket. But I hope they keep their feet on the ground. As much as we're happy for them, I think they got to keep their feet on the ground. There's still a lot of games to go in this tournament, and they got to be fighting for the game against Bangladesh. So, I mean, full kudos to Zimbabwe. Hey, and I mean, this is heartbreaking for Pakistan. Hey, I mean, a proper choke, as you just called it. I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but Pakistan at times they can be their own worst enemy. And this was a game where Pakistan was the worst enemy.
88-3, man. That's why I was so annoyed. Because don't be wrong, I'm happy for Zimbabwe, but this is unforgivable. 88-3, and you can't chase that. I think they were still hungover from that Indian defeat, which was so radically crazy that I think it's mentally killed them. Although, I don't want to depress you here, but okay, fine, I'll tell you about the depressing part with Pakistan. I mean, not depressing, but okay, fine, I'll say it quickly. Should things go according for Pakistan tomorrow, if hypothetically India beats South Africa, then Pakistan will have that spurt of motivation, because Pakistan are a team that when they have their backs against the wall, they play outstandingly well. So, but anyway, we'll get to that part just now. So it makes them a bit more dangerous now, because now they've got no choice but to win. And but look at the Zimbabwe, got 3 matches to go, and they could also find a way of qualifying should things go their way, but I don't think that will happen. I think there'll have to be too many shocks, man.
Well, I mean, this makes for fascinating viewing. It makes for fascinating viewing. I just hope the rain stays away, because, I mean, look at Pakistan. This is going to be heartbreaking for them. I mean, how they actually lift themselves up for the next game is going to be really, really important because, I mean, they're going to be dejected after this one. So, I mean, as you said, I mean, losing from a virtually a winning position, made things so difficult for themselves. So, Pakistan, they, as I said, they kind of a side that they're their own worst enemy at times. So, yeah, they can be dangerous. They can be dangerous in terms of, not having much to play for. But, I'd like to see how this affects their psyches, in terms of their overall psyche as a team. Because, I mean, this was a game that they really, really should have won. But, I mean, full credit to Zimbabwe. They deserved it. And, I just hope they keep their foot on the ground and don't get carried away with this. Because, I mean, it's one game.
Okay, so basically, we can't talk much. Yeah, basically, we can't talk much about the next two because they were both rained out, and the famous Melbourne cricket ground, which was Afghanistan and Ireland, and Australia and England also got rained out. Michael Vaughan has said something interesting. They have two grounds in Melbourne. One is indoor, and the one is obviously outdoors. They should have moved these matches to the indoor stadium. The only issue would have been for the poor crowd. They would have had to move to that ground. But sometimes these things should happen, because of, a lot of money gets wasted, eh? I mean, not wasted. A lot of money gets lost revenue-wise for the TV rights and all that stuff. So, Michael does have a point there, hey?
No, absolutely. I agree with Vonnie there. I think this is a marquee tournament for the ICC, and obviously they generate a lot of revenue from these ICC tournaments. And look at the stakeholders. I mean, there's so many sponsors involved. The players. I mean, the players train so hard for these games. So it's a lot at the end of the day. I mean, TV viewership. I mean, people. All these things cost money. There's a lot of preparation that goes behind it. And he was talking about there's so much of top. I mean, if you wanted to cover that entire Melbourne field with top, you might as well do so, because I mean, it did stop. But the reason why the game didn't take place was because there was a wet outfield. So I think the ICC's planning has been a bit poor, yeah? But I think the next tournament going forward, in future tournaments, they got to have they got to come up with a plan B, sir, because I mean the plan A that they are using at the moment is not working out. It's definitely not working out. So they've got to come up with a plan B. Unfortunately, a really disappointing day for cricket fans, because I was really looking forward to that game. I mean, who wouldn't want to be looking forward to England and Australia? And unfortunately, it didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to the last one to talk about before we do the previews for tomorrow. New Zealand and Sri Lanka are another first-class performance by New Zealand. I'm calling it. They'll be the first team right now for semi-finals. No doubt about it. If they don't make semi-finals, then it'll be too many shocks, man. Can't take all these shocks.
I think the Black Caps need to start playing on Saturdays now, because Saturday seems to be like a lucky day for them. They beat Australia and Sydney last week, and then they beat Sri Lanka today. And I think absolutely, I'd say it was a bit of a demolition job of Sri Lanka today. Because I mean, if you look at that scorecard, nothing much to read about. But I mean, boy oh boy, this game didn't start off so well for New Zealand. So that's the funny thing, because I mean they were not for one, and then they were 6 for 2, and then they were 15 for 3. I think Williamson's form, again, like Babu, is a bit of a concern. I think he's a fantastic captain, just backing it up with runs at the moment. But I mean, that bowling performance, I mean, I actually didn't see it, and I actually need to go and see the highlights. It was superb. I mean, just looking at those figures, I mean, Saudi was a 2 for 10. Bolt 4 for 13. Fantastic figures. Absolutely fantastic figures.
Yeah.
My battery is going to die. I'm just going to charge it for a bit, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to you now in 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, convincing win for New Zealand, and they're looking like hot favorites to qualify from this group. I totally agree with you. Sri Lanka, I think they probably one loss away. Hi, Sid.
Yeah, man. That's okay. All right. I think.
Sorry about the angle. Unfortunately, I'm
That's
just
all right.
charging my device. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. I think. Yeah. I think okay. I think you were saying that New Zealand are going to be the first one to make semi-finals, just as I did. So I think we pretty much concur on that.
Yes, absolutely. I think with their net run rate now, they probably have the best net run rate of all the teams in Group One. Australia, they probably have a chance as well now, given that rain out. I think that rain out is probably going to affect England a lot more than Australia, because England have got New Zealand and Sri Lanka left, where Australia has Ireland and Afghanistan left. So heaven forbid we don't have any more rain. I just hope, but you never
No.
can be sure at the moment in Australia. But it's a good thing that they're moving away from Melbourne now. So there's not going to be any more games in Melbourne. They're moving to the Gold Coast, Brisbane. They're moving to Brisbane. Then they're moving to the Gabba, and I think they're also going to be playing in Adelaide as well. So I think that's a positive for the tournament going forward, because I mean, let's face it, Melbourne has been horrendous.
Yeah, Melbourne's been pretty disappointing, to put it politely. We're going to.
To put it politely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to tomorrow's fixtures quickly. Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, that's the very first one tomorrow at Brisbane, as you said, and I'm hoping Zimbabwe keep up on their winning ways, just to keep the tournament interesting, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly speaking, I mean, they're playing at a Gabba, another nice, bouncy Australian wicket. Yeah, I mean, I fancy Zimbabwe in this game, so to be honest with you. I think guys like Blessing, the tall quick for Zimbabwe, I think he's going to do well on this pitch here. Yeah, this seems like a game that Zimbabwe would fancy, eh? Would fancy. But on the flip side, you've got Bangladesh as well that do have some paces in Tusky. Will also enjoy this weekend as well. So it's a bit of an even contest for me, eh? I think it's kind of a 50-50 game. What do you think?
I think I just want Zimbabwe to win. I'm not really a fan of Bangladesh at the moment. I just put off Bangladesh. I put off who else am I put off right now? Also West Indies, but they're not in the World Cup, so I'm just wanting Zimbabwe to win. It's good for Africa. And I have the steer. Zimbabwe does well in this tournament. I think more teams will want to play them. So in that sense, I hope Zimbabwe do well.
Yeah, I guess it's very important for them, hey. And I mean, guess what? I mean, they also. I mean, if they kind of go on a winning run, they could have ideas about qualifying. So you got to just hold that thought. Just hold that thought, bro. I mean, this could possibly be. We could possibly something great here. We could possibly see something great here.
Yeah, but I think if it was going to be, I don't think so, because I think South African net run rate is so strong. So, but we'll get to South Africa just now. So we'll talk about Pakistan, Netherlands. If Pakistan lose to Netherlands, then I give up. Not just give up, then they should be given a lot of spankings. So this is definitely their first two wins, first 2 points, I mean, on the board. What do you say? They should be given a lot of spankings if they don't win tomorrow, Pakistan.
This is a must-win. It's a must-win for Pakistan, whether you like it or not. If they don't win this game, they're going home. They might as well pack their bags and head. They don't.
Don't show your face to anyone. Just get lost.
Just get lost. So, I mean, look, they probably should win this one, eh? They probably should win this one against Netherlands. I think they probably got enough quality. But as I said, I'm just concerned about the mental state of the Pakistani players. What that defeat against Zimbabwe has done to them, because psychologically they are looking crushed now. Mentally, they're looking crushed. So they got to lift themselves up for this game, And Netherlands would probably have us. If they can get things going, they could probably make life very difficult for Pakistan, because I think the Pakistani players' heads are scrambled at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah. It's a bit of a difficult one, because they are playing in Perth, which is, if you've noticed, Pakistan have been playing at these really Western grounds, eh? They've never played a match in Sydney. So, So the way I look at it is that Pakistan need to bat first tomorrow. Make a run. Even if they make 150 or even 160, with their bowling attack, I think they'll win tomorrow. Just to get a win over the line will be a good thing for their morale. And then we'll get to now South Africa and India, the much awaited match. Hey, this is going to be a real key match for Pakistan, especially because if India win tomorrow, Pakistan's going to have a lot of motivation, because it means that if they beat South Africa, then it becomes another Mahabharat story. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. But I think South Africa need to win tomorrow to make sure they've killed Pakistan's chances of qualifying for the semi-finals. What say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think that a lot of those Protea players watched that game against Zimbabwe, Pakistan and Zimbabwe. And I mean, that game doesn't give them any motivation to do well tomorrow. I don't know what is, but I mean, playing India is motivation on its own. I mean, I'm so excited for this game, but I'm also nervous at the same time, because I know what India brings to the party and what India are capable of. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm also nervous because I know some of those Indian players are in red hot form. But I mean, having said that, I mean, they're playing at a venue that is tailor made for their bowling attack. At Perth, the quickest pitch at the moment, and I think guys like Nokia, KG, even Wayne Parnell is going to enjoy. They're going to enjoy the pace and bounce, and there's obviously a bit of swing as well. So they're going to enjoy playing this. But I'm looking at team selection for this game. This team selection is going to be crucial. So I think Ngidi needs to come back to the lineup. I think Ngidi needs to come back into this lineup, and I think Shamsi. I mean, he had a good game last game, but I wouldn't play him against India. I just wouldn't play him against India because he didn't have a very good tour last month.
And thoughts on Jansen also playing? If not Ngidi, Jansen could also play. Between those two, I guess. Or Parnell. Between those three, I guess.
I don't want to make too many changes with the winning side. I'd probably leave Parnell, because I mean Parnell offers something with the swing as well. I think and Indian players, they don't really like left armers. I mean, it wouldn't be such a good idea to play Marco Jansen as well, because he did pretty well. Sorry, in the test, obviously it's a different sort of format. But I mean, Guy, you're playing at Perth. I mean, this is like home away from home for the Proteas. It's literally like you're playing at the Wanderers. So, I mean, everything's in their hands. I mean, they know what they have to do. Everything is in their hands. I mean, if you beat India tomorrow, you're going to make it virtually impossible for Pakistan to get out of this group. So, to be fair, to be quite frank with you, I think if you beat India tomorrow, you probably eliminated Pakistan. Let's put it that way. You're probably eliminating Pakistan from the tournament.
And the reason I'm saying that, because I don't see us ever losing to Netherlands. If we lost to the Netherlands, then we only have ourselves to blame. So I think, I think they're pretty much out of the tournament. Pakistan should. So Pakistan will be supporting India. Who would have thought that? So that's quite funny.
Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought that? Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that? I think tomorrow team selection is really, really important. I think you got to get Ngidi back in the side. I think Ngidi, Parnell, Nokia, Rabada, I think that's a pretty decent attack against this Indian lineup. I would play Maharaj. The reason why I would play Keshav is because if I look at that India tour, he was one of the best bowlers in that T20 series. I mean, he's control. So I think he can add a lot of control to this. He can add a lot of control to this bowling lineup. So yeah, I mean, that would be my only change. Take Shamsi out, because I mean, India do play Shamsi quite well, and I think to be fair, Rispan won't do much on that ground. Or alternatively, as you said, you can go out with the all-pace attack. But I highly unlikely see that from happening.
No, not all-pace attack. I just said you just make the one simple change between Shamsi, and you can choose any of the three pacemen to replace Shamsi. That's it. No, you need Keshav to have variety. No. Kind of all pace becomes a bit boring, so that variety is important. And it's SA's best chance of beating India, to be brutally honest, because it's in Perth. If it was in Sydney, I would have said India to win, so SA must win for themselves tomorrow. I think India will still qualify even if they lose tomorrow because the team they play afterwards are not that hectic. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Sid. So yeah, I mean, this is a crucial game tomorrow for both sides. But I think more importantly the Proteas, because I mean they had one washout. We
Yeah,
potentially could have seen two sides that were on 4 points playing each other, and
yeah,
it was just
yeah.
probably a knockout for who's going to finish top of the groups. But
Hmm.
unfortunately,
Hmm.
here's what it
Hmm.
is. And I think Proteas will be motivated tomorrow for that game. Uh,
Yeah.
and being at Perth, I think they've got a pitch to suit them.
Yeah.
And the batting is looking pretty explosive. I'm going to
Hmm.
give this one to the Proteas. I'm going to give this one to the Proteas tomorrow.
Yeah. My head is also saying, you see, in theory, India are the favorites, but if I'm going to look at the ground and considering how Perth has been playing, I mean, South Africa will probably are the favorites, don't say favorites, but they are slight favorites to win it. So, and also my issue is that if they don't beat India, then I think they'll be screwed because Pakistan are playing in Sydney, and Sydney will definitely suit them more than South Africa. But I know you disagree with me on that, but I think Pakistan will be more motivated because they definitely will have nothing to lose after beating Netherlands. So that's what I'm saying. It's do or die for SA tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you there because I think the Proteas in Sydney they played pretty well against Bangladesh. So, but I mean, why take it to the last game? Why don't you just
Yeah,
get the job done tomorrow? You got to try and be
yeah,
ruthless,
yeah,
win
yeah,
games, qualify, and then we
yeah,
can
yeah.
talk about the knockouts. I mean, the knockouts is still another week away. So I think this is perfect motivation for them to beat India tomorrow
Yeah,
and qualify. I mean, it's as simple as
yeah,
that. I mean, don't
yeah,
don't take the long way. Don't take the long road. I mean, this is a
yeah,
this is a perfect. You win this game tomorrow.
yeah.
Potentially, you play Netherlands for net run rate, and you through to the next round. So, I mean, why
And
take it to Pakistan?
and to be brutally honest, I don't think Pakistan really deserve to go through to the semi after losing to the power play out of all the teams in that tournament. So I think SA must just win tomorrow. Obviously, I do like India, but I think South Africa need to go through as well to semi, so it's fine. I like them both, so it's not a big deal. So what I was gonna tell you towards the end is that this whole rain situation, I feel they've complicated this whole overs situation. My idea is they should have two scenarios for over reductions. For 20 overs, they should have one scenario, 10 overs each. Another scenario is 5 overs each. But what they should do is that with the extra time that's remaining, they should do an incentive whereby they do a crowd having pictures with the team player that they're with enough time left. Let's say, for example, if you have a 5 over match in the worst case scenario, and there was like, say 20 minutes left, you could do like a few team photos or something as something to make them feel better. Something like that. Even 50 overs, like for example, first scenario like 40 overs each, and then the second scenario like 20 overs. Then that's just a katam means done and dusted. I just spoke a little bit of Hindi there, but that's my theory on that.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's very disappointing what the rain has done to this tournament. But I mean, Vaughnie,
Hmm.
what Michael Vaughan said on Crick Buzz, I mean, really,
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, I
important.
agree with
I
that.
mean, in Melbourne, you've potentially got a stadium that's already have a
Yeah,
roof. It
yeah.
has a roof, and why not use it? I mean, that should be the
Hmm.
contingency plan going forward. And
Yeah.
we talk about what do you call replays, but I think replays are really important in tournaments because there's so much at
Hmm.
stake. There's so much at stake in terms of there's so much at stake. There's so much at stake in these big tournaments. So
Hmm.
it's really important to have those games where teams can get those points. So yeah, that's my 5 cents. But I really feel the ICC have to come up with a plan. I mean, they knew exactly. I mean, this is a rainy season in Australia, and the amount of rainfall we're getting.
Hmm.
And who's to say there's not going to be more games that's going to be rained out? So I actually don't know which way
Gosh,
to call it at the moment. I mean,
God.
if there's going to be more rain, it's just going to be disastrous. It's really going to be
Yeah, man.
disastrous.
Nah, I think we'll be okay. Although Melbourne will have matches, but that's more towards the end of the tournament, like for knockouts and all that. So, but I think they do have reserve days. So, but like, what do you think of my theory for the two scenarios? Because if we do have extra time after using those two scenarios, you can always have pictures with the team players afterwards. So I'm sure it's not a bad thing, you know. So they could do that for future reference. Because I find this, because imagine if they used my theory of it, they could have got to the Bobby and match time easily, 5 overs each. Do you know that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it should have been 5 overs. I think it shouldn't have been actually been 9 overs because I mean you weren't going to get a game in that sort of time frame. So yeah, it should have just been what it was. So yeah, I mean disappointing, and yeah, you got to look at all sorts of scenarios, and there has to be a contingency plan going forward towards future ICC events because I mean this is totally not on, especially for the stakeholders, for the fans, for the players. It's not on. It's not on at all.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a wrap from my end. Any final words?
Go Proteas. Go Proteas.
Yeah, man. All right. Take care, man, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Cheers. Chat to you soon. Take care.